Well, it's a good thing I double-checked that. Turns out it wasn't streaming just a few moments ago, so I got that operational. So apparently I can still have a couple of other problems that I need to always be double and triple checking. Greetings one and all. Hope you are having a pleasant Saturday evening and start to Sunday. Trying to get back into the swing of doing this game for a while. Well now. That went well. I see why everyone is using that item. Ew. Well now. That went well. So there's a couple of things we're going to be discussing tonight. As normal, I will be waiting to cover it in the entirety of the concept later on. But for now, I kind of want to just start off with a question. How do you find you need to improve upon something? How do you decide that this is something I need to work on and improve? Kind of like this game, which just crashed on me. That's why we don't do this as full streams anymore, because we are having problems with it. Well, the crash message will appear in just a moment, and then I will restart it. We're going to try this for about an hour, hour and a half. I'm going to try and go to the windowed version again, because that one seemed to be a little bit more reliable. But anyway, how do you decide that there's something you need to work and improve? I ask this because in our generation, there is a lot of motivation to never improve, to never address problems. If you have an issue and someone raises it as an issue, people lash out. They get angry at you. They come to hate and despise you. That's why we kind of have to do a lot of self-reflection in this world. And unfortunately, the people that we need to really tell us that there's areas that need to be improved upon are many times the people that won't really have the comfort in telling you. Hey, greetings, Sebastian. At a wedding party, ooh, dandy. Hope it goes well. Have fun, and hope that is an opportunity to bond with friends and family. All right, let's get this game restarted, because the crash is not coming up, so we just gotta exit out of it manually. not responding, oh, say it isn't so. I wonder if somebody has figured out yet what is the problem point. I didn't see anything in the in any announcement or whatnot. But while this is rebooting, might as well take a look. Let's see here. Yes, it does seem like nobody. Typical. Nobody has figured out what is causing this problem. You know, if I was a developer, I would think that there would be some telltale signs that, hey, you know what? Before you push something out there, might want to double check it. Because the history of this game to never address problems is, well, quite common. There's not a whole lot of motivation for them to want to figure these things out beforehand. So thus, when we come to days like today, when it's like, hey, you know, the average person wants to give it a try, and you alienate a portion of your community, it is very strange. For example, on my website, I have a couple of common problems that I keep encountering. Some of them have persisted for a very long time. I'm one man. But yet, over time, I'm able to slowly address them, one by one. One of those problems that I just recently figured out was one related to a black screen that I was getting, but not on all PCs, just on some. And apparently other people were encountering this too. It just wasn't the case for everybody, we'll put it that way. But this problem persisted. Well, 2 days ago, I finally figured out what it was. It was an image. An image that had a name that I did not know symbolized a drug. And for whatever reason, it turns out some browsers on some computers will censor that. And as a result, it will cause part of your website to crash. I had no idea that that was even remotely possible. And lo and behold, I figured it out after months of it causing problems. Again, that's one man able to figure that stuff out. But this game routinely has the exact same problems over and over again. And I don't see the effort being put in to try and fix these things. Again, this stuff should be fairly common at this point. They have a big team. They have lots of data. It's constantly being played. And their own team should have their own machines that they're practicing on. And yet, the problems still persist. Greetings there, Anna. Hey, much appreciated for the sub there. How are you doing? We don't get a whole lot of subs these days. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. It ebbs and flows as time goes on. It's not like this is a big hyped channel. I don't go through the common sort of strategies that one is supposed to do on the different platforms. But that being said, still press on, year after year. One of the things, though, that I have noticed over the last couple of years is that when you don't stress about it, it doesn't taunt you. It doesn't give you any sort of grief or frustration. You just look at it and think, oh, been a busier month, been a slower month. But you don't have the urgency to want to try and, I just got to get to that next big checkpoint in your YouTube adventure. I've known people that do that. And unfortunately, it doesn't necessarily help in people's mentality. It can really start to eat away at it. Had a bad day. I'm very sorry to hear that. Very sorry to hear that. Some days are going to be better, some days are going to be worse. And unfortunately, we don't really get that opportunity to dictate what that's going to be. The only thing we can do is take it as best as we can. Press on. Not to ignore the challenges, not to ignore the things that go wrong, but to learn from them. Hopefully, despite it being problematic, hopefully it gave you a chance to learn some things and to be able to start to, hopefully, make sure it doesn't repeat too much, if it's within your power. And if not, hopefully things start to change. I had a couple of difficult days in the over the last couple of years. There was one in particular that stood out to me. I've only been, I've been in many different positions throughout my life. There was one that, I had that really broke me. So I like to think that I am a wise steward. I like to think that my finances are stable, that I'm trying to be effective. And a couple of years ago, I came across a very tough situation where I ended up having to not quite beg, but I actually had to ask for help at one point for food. I've never done that before in my life, and there was a moment where I actually did that, and it shook me to my core. And it was something that was outside of my ability to change. So the question then becomes, is there something that you're supposed to learn from it? Something that you're supposed to walk away from and say, you know what? Yes, that was tough. Yes, that was problematic. That hurt. It was embarrassing. It was shameful. Was it supposed to be that way because you're supposed to learn something from it? You know, after years, I can actually say that, yes, there was something I got to learn from it. And I never would have acknowledged it if I didn't have that experience. So despite, why can I not steer this thing? Okay, well, that thing's glitching. We'll leave that. If I had not had that experience, I never would have learned from it. Never would have grown. I never would have known what some other people were experiencing. Gave me a chance to commiserate with them. Beforehand, I just wrote things off like that, like, oh, you're not a wise steward of your finances. And then me, who was trying to be wise with my finances, ended up having to accept a handout. And I thought, wow, changed my perspective. My boyfriend broke up with me. I'm very sorry to hear that. Relationships can, unfortunately, hurt more than anything else. Seeing things like that come to an end is, well, as you know, it's something where it starts to, it's almost like you've experienced a death in that sense. But it's not a death of a person in the same way. It's more of a death of the world that you had, the dreams that you had, the ideas that you had. And yeah, it does hurt. Now, I personally have not been in that position before, but I have seen the experiences that others have had in this. And so in that sense, I can definitely commiserate with you. Using the Tinder app, yeah. Tinder app is, it feels at times like it has great potential. I'm going to die to the storm here. Dang, I did not plan this out very well. Oh, it disappeared. Oh, great. Well, I should have grabbed some health. Oof. My bad. Try that again. 1-year relationship. I tried using Tinder once. It was very short-lived, I should say that. I tried eHarmony, I tried Bumble, I tried a lot of them. Every time it was, for me, it was a very bad experience. The experiences I had were, felt very fake. And so, thus, when things didn't necessarily pan out, it was something where at first it hurt and then it started getting easier and easier. But I realized for me, it was because I just didn't know what it was like to have it actually last. They never lasted more, the dialogues never lasted more than a day or 2. I think the longest was like 3 days. Everything else was like 2 conversations and it was over. No, I don't. I been a long time of kind of living trying to get my feet under me, and that is not something that women necessarily want to see in the world of Tinder or whatnot, or any other sort of dating form. Took me a while to finally come to terms with it. But it is something where I have seen several of my friends that have experienced the difficulty of relationships coming to an end. It does damage people quite a lot. One thing I can say, do not let it eat you too much. It is going to be tough. Don't let it embitter you. That's one thing I ask. Times will change. Life will reset, and you'll start to see hope rekindled. Hope you become a famous YouTuber. Well, I don't know if that's necessarily in God's plan for me, but we'll wait and see. Been doing this for 3 years. I almost became famous. That didn't necessarily pan out so much over the first year. And I went from kind of shooting up like a rocket to kind of going like that, getting mowed down. Made your day better. I'm glad. Hopefully it continues to improve. You know, there's a friend of mine. He I won't say necessarily what he was struggling with. It was a health issue. And during his struggle, this is something that I got to observe. His transformation over a period of time. He had a little bit of a health scare. Now, some people will approach a moment of shock in terms of either helping to wake you up or embittering you, and he chose to let it embitter him. I watched as a man with great hopes, great aspirations, on a health scare, which, by the way, ended up not actually like hurting him a whole lot. Made it to where he couldn't walk upstairs, but everything else was like normal. He could still play, he could do some sports, he could still go to and fro, his mind was still sharp, but psychologically it started to eat at him. And that's when I started to realize so much of what we do is about the heart and the soul. Your heart and soul can weather tremendous struggle. But you know what? If it starts to break, then it can take a perfectly healthy person and just tear them apart. That's one of the reasons why it helps to still show kindness in the middle of pain and suffering. Because what ends up happening is, well, from my own personal experiences, if you end up, like, let's put it this way. Someone comes up to you and smacks you upside the face. You have a couple of choices. You can slap them back, or you can pray for them and hope that they change. I do believe in God, very strongly. Someone who's willing to look at another who has done them wrong, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a physical attack, whether it's an emotional one that just tears you down. You have the choice to be able to turn around and show them the kindness that they refuse to show you. Some people in this world, that act will shake them to their core. I saw it. I saw it happening to a guy. He thought for certain that he had emotionally tore someone down, and that person turned around and actually showed him a little bit of kindness. It wasn't like they didn't go like way out of their way for it, but they just showed him a little bit of kindness. That caused him to have a panic attack. And over the following days, he was like, what do I do? I thought for certain I had like destroyed this person. And here they are actually trying to show mercy and kindness. And it caused him to change. It took him many years. He eventually did change. That's one of the best things we can do, to be able to show some mercy. And that is incredibly hard to do. Now, I'm not really showing mercy to people in this game now. That I could probably improve that. That's good to hear, Anna. Being able to have faith is one of the best things you can have. Troubles will continue to happen throughout this life. It's not without reason. And it's not without some hope that is going to be built up over time. Keep praying. Keep pressing forward. Gonna head on out. Well, thanks for stopping by, Anna. Have a pleasant day, and we'll be praying for you. Greetings there, Light. How are you doing? What are you up to? I sense civility is being breached down here. I wish so much that we had the avatar abilities back. It feels so weird for Aang to be running around with a sword and guns. Aha, there you are. Oh, someone else is here. Oh, that was close. Oh, that was very close. Hopefully that gives me some shield. Swap that out. Been doing well. I got my classes ready for the next semester. Ooh, dandy. Anything that you're looking forward to? Swap that out. Delicious blue water. Ah. I need to put some more ice in that. It's way too warm. By warm, I mean like slightly above freezing. By the way, we've had some bitterly cold weather up here in Alaska. It's been nice and frigid. And today, we had a wind that started to warm things up just a little bit. Thankfully, it is dipping back into the freezing territory again. But now everything's slick, icy. The skating rink. That reminds me, I think that my relatives have like some skating planned out. What the heck is that? Beatbox? What is that supposed to do? Is this a weapon? Damages structures. Ah, interesting. Do I take it with me? Yeah, might as well. Experiment with it. Use that as well. Oh, wait a minute. Never mind. Taking 2 classes next semester. Statistics is one of them, but the one I'm really interested in is psychology. Psychology. I took a psychology class. It's I took it from a professor who was really, really good. And he gave me a warning about psychology classes. I will pass it on to you. It is up for you to decide what you're going to be doing with it. Psychology becomes a very subjective sort of field. And you're going to encounter some very, very, very dark ideas inside of a psychology class. We're talking uber dark stuff. Now, my professor was really good because he would address the dark stuff and show us a little bit of light on the other side, so that way it didn't become overwhelming, and thus we were able to look at it from a Christian point of view. But a normal one can actually be incredibly dark, so just be forewarned. You probably have thought about that, but just don't be shell-shocked if you've not heard about it. My professor was actually writing a curriculum book. I wonder if he ever finished it. It was going to be like, it was super different than anything else that was out there. And we got to see a little bit of it. And I'm hoping that he found success with it. But guess we'll wait and see. Well, I guess won't wait and see, because how am I going to find out? I haven't been paying attention to any of my professors since I left. Light name drop. Yes, precisely. Feels weird to be back on this map. Was doing this map last December. Now we're back for this December. Not had any glitches on this map yet. I wonder if it's just the other map that's causing problems. If so, then that solves a lot of problems. I need to test out the speed box before I get to actual combat. We'll test it on this one up here. Oh, glitch. By the way, one of the things I was practicing on earlier today is I'm going to be showing in about 3 days. 3 or 4 days. Yep. See, folks, this is why you don't turn your speakers up too loud. That happens. But I've actually been working on some game mechanics. Remember how I said that it would probably be easier for me to figure out how to code something than to actually rely upon the game engine that Fortnite has? Well, I've been experimenting with that. And getting a little bit better. I'm not great at it, but like I said beforehand, it's not like I forget to do these things. It's just that things get put on hold. Anonymous. So anyway, you're going to see that. It's nothing too spectacular, but it is an interesting experiment that I've been doing. And it's going to actually be something that people can play. It's being done as like a pseudo commission. So I'm hoping to be able to have that done here shortly, because the experiment has been successful enough. Oh, you're gonna build something? Guess what? I got a beatbox for you. Oh, whoa, you actually hit me? That doesn't feel like it should have connected. But then again, when I shot Anonymous, I don't think it should have connected either. Oh, I can't go through that window, but it's open. I need to get some shield. I'm in kind of a bad spot. Oh. Guy's still shooting. Staying here nice and safe. Understand the dark depths of that psychology goes down. That's why I always go through my life with God. If there's something he wants me to learn from psychology class, then may his will be done. Exactly. One thing I will ask. Talk with a Christian relative or friend about it between deeper elements of the class. I view psychology as like partly demonic. You'll become aware of it pretty fast if you're not already. And so just having that spiritual refresher between them will help out tremendously. There's another area that is very dark, and it's actually, ironically enough, nursing. I was, I won't go into the depths of it, but I got to hear what, like, not a normal nursing class gets to hear. I got to hear like what a really advanced one has to deal with. The reason why is because originally I was being commissioned to make a game for them back several years ago, or at least elements for a game. And the game was supposed to be a simulator, so they could help them come to terms with some of the more difficult aspects of the nursing world. I won't even talk about them on stream. It's that extreme. So yeah, if psychology gets dark, nursing, like the top level of the nursing programs, oh, it gets dark. Oh no, I don't have a better weapon. Can't hit him. There we go. Hunting rifle, which one? That's a good one. I do want to stick with this one. Ah, more mushrooms. Be careful about eating mushrooms, kids. You don't want to grab the wrong one. Actually, mushrooms they can be healthy for you, but man, is it risky business. You definitely want to make sure you get it from an expert, and even so, experts sometimes make mistakes. I like to avoid mushrooms for the most part. My dad took a psychology class when he was in college. He believes, well, more like knows I would love that class, and I can trust his judgment. In that sense, I hope it goes well. If that is right up your alley, then yeah, it will go well. Always good to trust the opinions of family members because they know you inside and out. Oh no! I saw you earlier. Shoot. Blast. Oh, you're not the same guy. I thought he was the guy that was shooting at me earlier. Oh well. Hey, got through 2 rounds without it crashing. Sure seems hopeful. My sister works as a nurse assistant. She has told me some stories about being in the medical field, especially during the COVID times. Ah, yes. Yes, indeed. Ooh, traps galore. But now you're trapped there, buddy. Oh! His little cocoon failed him. I think I can go to full screen again. Let's try this. Full screen. Windowed full screen. Apply. Keep changes. I'm so glad I don't have to worry about colorblind mode for this game or anything. Thankfully, I have maybe not the best color vision. There's some colors that blend together a little too much for me. but for the most part, I can see colors. Now, I have known many people who are colorblind, and for them, playing a game like this, they have to turn on colorblind mode. And man, does it look wacky. But for them, it's the only way they can be able to do it. I'm gonna go land to the snowy area once again. I like this snowy area. All right, then I go eep. Thank you for the talking and advice. Have a good night, and God bless you all. Same to you, Light. Rest well. And we'll see you next time, whenever that is. Did I just hear music in this game? Did something just trigger near me? Maybe, maybe not. What is this? A glider. Who needs a glider? When you have balloons. Okay. Let's head on down. Yeah, no one needs traps. Hello? That wall of clouds is very simple looking. Aha, I see them. Boing. And slowly Aang floated down to his unsuspecting prey. Oh, the J-Man slay. Yes, you were slayed by J-Man. Just a Jeff-Man instead. Poor fellow. Oh, he had a weapon upgrade for me. Wonderful. Swap that out. I should have gotten some water. Some more ice water. I said that it was running a little warm, and I need to do that. Come on. No, that wasn't enough of a jump. Well, I said earlier that there was a discussion point that I wanted to bring up. I think now is probably a good time to do it. How do you decide if you need to improve upon something? To get better, to seek help, to get advice, maybe to calm yourself down and... Uh-oh. Hello? Come on down. Let's play down here. Oh no, I'm in trouble. Help! That didn't go so well. Blast. Yes, to your fancy little sandwich animation. Oh, now you're in trouble because they saw that you have a sandwich and they've come to get it. You better be careful. He's gonna take your sandwich. Oh, just because you're emoting. Oh, that must hurt. Okay, so ways to improve. How do you know that you need to improve upon something? If someone comes up to you and says that you're messing something up, some people can internalize that very, very much. Actually, hold on to that thought. I'm gonna get some water. Be right back. So internalizing. Someone comes up to you and says, you know, that outfit just doesn't look good on you. Some people will hear that and they will internalize it something fierce. It will eat at them. They will get super discouraged and they won't know what to do with themselves. That's not what I'm kind of referring to about knowing that there's something that you need to improve. Sometimes it's a bit more subtle. And while your attire can help, that's not what really matters. The thing that matters the most is your values and your ethics. If you're going to go along and let's say, for example, you have a habit of speaking ill about someone. Someone may say, hey, you know what? I probably want to show a little bit more kindness to that person. And you think, why? I'm already showing them too much kindness. That's an area that you probably need to be working on, where something becomes about harming somebody or causing irritations to somebody or tearing someone else down. Those are the things that need to be improved upon. So if someone comes up and says your clothing looks terrible, the person who said that to you is the one that probably needs to work upon it. Now, someone who comes up and says, hey, maybe you didn't know, but the clothing you've been wearing is a bit problematic, and they tell it to you because they want to truly see you improve, then yes, you do want to heed that. But if they're just coming up to humiliate you and cause you shame and grief, then you probably don't want to listen to that as the advice as much, just because that can be, sounds more like somebody's dealing with a pride issue instead. I think someone's in this building. I thought I saw them earlier. But did they leave? The reason why this has been in my mind recently, though, is because I've been seeing some people... Oh, golly. Oh, now that's better. I saw somebody tearing into another guy, saying about how stupid somebody was. And they said it like they were somehow trying to be kind, but in truth, all they were trying to do was cause harm, cause grief. It's a very common thing on the internet to tear people down. It's a very common thing for people to overreact and treat everyone almost as if they're combatants in a game. Only thing that matters is that you came out on the other side. God made us here for relationship, for to have friends and family. He didn't want us to be in isolation. First thing that was a problem in this world, God looked at man and said, shouldn't be alone. So when you have an entire generation of people that starts to become so self-focused that, I'm not going to say necessarily narcissistic, even though while that term could be correct, it's overly used and people use it for everybody and everything these days. And I think the name has kind of started losing some of its potency. Now, it's about selfishness or not. Is it something where you're going to show kindness? You're going to show mercy? A lot of people don't want to show anything. They only want to take in this life. That's why it becomes such a problem. Because I'm seeing this happen everywhere. People determined to take advantage of whoever they can, whatever they can, steal from a business, tear a friend down. It's all about trying to serve self rather than do what's right in terms of I can't steer. Rather than do something right because that is what we're told to in the Bible. Okay, so you have to keep pulling up, otherwise the plane turns down. That's weird. That is very weird. Oh. Okay, there we go. That's weird. That plane operates a little differently than it did in the past. Alright, right now we're just going to explore the island a little bit with this plane. We're not here to fight, we're here to explore. To fly. But when you tear someone down, it may feel good in the moment. But in the long term, what you've really done is you've alienated them. And you've started to endanger your ability to spend time with them. And you may write it off in the moment, saying, oh, well, if they can't suck it up, well, then they don't deserve my company anyway. That sounds all fine and good until you realize you're without friends. And then suddenly, oh, that does start to hurt. It does start to eat at you. And it matters. It really does matter in our world. Because right now, if you were to go through this life and from your youth to your adult life, you're building up friendships, and then from your adult life onward, all you do is tear them down. What sort of future are you building for yourself? What sort of do you want to end up being alone in your final years? I've seen older folks like that. Older folks that have torn the whole world down. Not even their closest friends are good enough for them anymore. And they're full of anger. And they don't know why the whole world's been against them. Problem is that they've been against everyone else. They never gave anybody else a chance. to thrive, to improve, to get better. Uh-oh. Yeah, that's a problem. Are you kidding? There we go. Chop down that Christmas tree. No! Karma! Okay, I don't believe in karma, but I'm just saying because, you know, trendy-ish. I was going to keep flying. I got nothing. I'm trapped. I'm trapped in an invisible box. That was weird. There was an old man that I got to see. He was at a coffee shop. I saw him for many years. We sat in the same area, usually the same days. I'm sure he was there more often than me. He always was there with friends. Over the span of about 3 years, I noticed his friend circle became smaller and smaller. I started overhearing him because he would get more boisterous as time went on, ranting against people, everybody, tearing him down. Look, there are some things you have to stand for. But when the whole world becomes so awful to you that you can't find a single thing to say good about them, well, you have to start to ask if you are the problem. Thus going back to the main question that I raised at the start. How do you know if there's something you need to improve? Now, if you lose all your friends, that doesn't necessarily mean that you are in the wrong. But if somebody shows you mercy and you respond with anger and hate, yeah, you're probably in the wrong. It doesn't take a genius to see that one. And for this guy, he was so angry. And finally, he stopped coming to the coffee shop for a while. I didn't see him there for some time. And then, whenever I did see him, he was always by himself. He had gotten so angry, so frustrated with everybody and everything, he became his only company. Right now we have the loneliest generation in the world. Imagine what happens when we get older and people start to become even more isolated as those of us pass on. What does that world look like? How many of us are going to come to that point and wish more than anything we could go back and, restore some of that which was lost. There was a friend of mine, a very good friend from college. And one day, in the absence of being together, the person had started to become very angry to everybody and everything. I was one of the first casualties of this person's anger, and maybe because I'm so polarizing, for them it was fairly easy to make me the first casualty. But I watched as other people started to leave this person. And it wasn't until years later that I found out that everyone had abandoned this person. And the person came back to me and apologized. Of our friends back at college, I think I'm one of the only ones that can actually say this person is still my friend. Imagine that. You had dozens, maybe even hundreds of people that you at least called acquaintances, if not friend. And then you go down to the point where the first person that you turned on is now your only friend left. That's humbling. And now realize that we have a culture that is so very paranoid, egotistical, selfish. Let us work together to try and improve, to get better. We need to improve. We need to show. Wait a second. Where's this guy shooting from? Oh, he's just walking on foot. I guess this thing does fly pretty slowly. Not unless I turn on turbo, but I don't want it. I'm just here to coast through the air. But I do want people to kind of think about that. Because I started thinking about that when I started losing friends for taking a stand when others didn't want me to. You can lose friends, but if you're standing for something honorable, you'll get new ones. Things will balance out, and you can't allow it to control you. But it is like a telltale sign that you've gone too far. Especially when it's you that's cutting off everyone else. And eventually you will end up with no friends. And if it becomes embitterment, that's something you need to work on. That's where humility is so crucial. That's one of the reasons why we need to practice showing others kindness and mercy, even when they don't deserve it. Because what's going to happen when we need mercy and forgiveness and no one is there to show us it? You might be that person to help someone else. You might be that person that needs to learn. Oh. Shooting at a peaceful flyer. I think I'll go for one more, then I'll go to the art. Let me take a quick look at something. Okay, so now this one we're going to try and go for the win. Now that we've explored the entire island. I wonder how many people's lives get changed by these ramblings. How many of them are just like forgotten in a moment. Oh, poor fella. Didn't have a very good weapon for a first engagement. That must have been frustrating, if not a bot, which could have been. Oh, light a fire in a house. Yeah, that's not dangerous in the slightest. Let's just get on out of here. Got enough gear to get started. Balloon time. Come on. Get down here, you ammo. There we go. Sure is looking like this game mode is actually safe to play, and it's just the other one, the actual map, that will not work. At this point, that's what I believe. So that means there's something in their update that's bugging out on the map. It doesn't take an expert in the field to realize that. Now, if I'm wrong, then it'll pan out over the games I do, that it is indeed just on that game mode versus this. We'll find out. I'll do this game tomorrow again, hopefully, and give it another try. See if the rule still holds. Interesting that almost no one ended up in this area. There we go. Oh, that went well. Take your shot. 3, 2, 1. Oh. I knew they were about ready to do something. I didn't think it was going to be that. I took out all their shield, so that's one positive thing. Of course, I got this big blue balloon to help show them where I am. All right, let's give it a try. Oh, yep, they're there. Did you run? One way to find out. Balloon time. Storms are coming. Time to move. Storm push you. Boy, it does not like allowing you to float forever. Did you leave? Very well. I should have thrown the boombox down on top of it. What could have been? Oh, perfect. Swap that out. I keep thinking Winnie the Pooh when I see balloons. Oh, bother. What is that? Okay, building item, it seems. I remember when you couldn't heal and walk. That was frustrating. So glad that is no longer the case. There's been a lot of changes since I've been playing this game. A lot of improvements. When the game first came out, I hated it. It took me 3 years to finally even give the game a try again. And now it's much better. One of the things is things like being able to heal. Where'd that guy go? At least I don't have a red balloon. That would have stand out even more. Imagine if a balloon like this could actually cause you to fly. It'd be neat, but it'd also be terrifying, because then you have to be careful about how many balloons you got. Well, now that would be an interesting idea. I'm getting story ideas. Stand by, I need to write down the story idea. Alright. Pull up notepad. Okay, that ID has been recorded. Huzzah. Oh no. Did not gauge that one very well. Jump up to there. Nope, not enough. Okay. And let's just get running. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I'm all out of balloons. It's actually really fast to travel by balloons because you don't have any of the terrain to have to worry about. Then you do have to worry about falling to your doom. Shouldn't be a problem if you're an airbender, but come on. Ah, the storm traveled so far this time. Oh, come on, another invisible wall. What is up with these invisible walls? It's like a cage. Okay, now I can get out. All right, so you have to walk out of it. That's weird. I go for one more. It's just been an hour for doing this. That passed actually far slower than I thought it did. I mean, it felt like it was slower than it actually was. Stand by a moment. I want to check something. Okay, there we go. Should be decent. Good to go. Alright, this area served well last time. Let's veer over here instead, though. I like this golf area. You know, golf is one of my favorite sports to do. But man, is it hard to find the opportunity to do that, especially in Alaska, where, you know, the courses are frozen for half the year minimum. And then, of course, the cost. Ooh, the cost. Most sports, though, or past times period, have become super spendy. There we go. Whoa, hello. Begging your pardon. Oh no. I'm all out of stamina. Come on, shoot at each other, not me. Golf cart away. Mm-hmm. Well, now. Golf carts getting attacked by planes. Only in Fortnite. Prepare for roadkill. Oh, you're a hideous character. Ha! Take that, you abomination. I hate that story. The game of Poppy Playtime. I became familiar with it because I wanted to be able to tell people if it was good or bad. And, it is bad. Like, ethically, it is a horrible story. Come back here, Grandpa. Oh, you were spared. Oh, phooey. Yeah, whatever. That was a tough start. By the way, folks, I made a simple printed version of Pharaoh and the Smith. This is the pages that I have, and then I actually are sewing them together, trying to use some older techniques to make like a kind of a traditional booklet. And it was a lot of fun to try and make this. I might actually do more of these, because I've had a lot of people complain about the story being online, mentioning about some of the problems that they've been having. And while it could fix all the problems, I think a lot of people also just don't like reading stuff online, which I understand. It's better to have them as a book. So I think I'm actually going to make some booklets this Christmas time and put them out there. They take a while to make, but it's a fun little hobby to do. So I don't have any real complaints about trying to do it. Bazooka. Oh, shoot. Got the drop on me there. Dang, these are really... Can't get that final full round here. I remember in my first few days, my first year of streaming, there was the common saying, one more, just one more. And I never tried to say that. I try and see the last full round that I'm going to do, and sometimes things get cut a little short. Sometimes I'm like, well, there's a little bit extra time, but I try to avoid the tropes of just one more, because I cannot stand that saying. Because there was one guy that I was on a stream with, where he kept saying one more, and he did that for like 3 additional hours. I had to finally sign off. I was like, look, I was fine for the first 2 hours. When we got to 4 hours, nope, I had to go and work. It's one of the reasons why I never did like the 24-hour streams, because they're not healthy for you. And it's kind of pointless. All right, we're going to try this again over here. But it is interesting to consider that if you keep saying one more, when are you really satisfied? Almost. Well, not really almost, but... yeah, I'm bad with my accuracy. So anyway, the guy kept saying one more, and it never worked. It just was always one more, one more. And eventually I asked, like, you keep saying one more, and it never changes the kind of the outcome. You win, and then you get the energy to want to do another. You lose, and then you get frustrated, and you want to do another. When are you truly satisfied? Well, with that mentality, basically you will never be satisfied. The longer you game, the more frustrating it gets, because you start to fail more often. You need to have rest. And if you go on forever, you end up having some pretty big issues. The mayor! Oh no, poor mayor. Where'd he go? There we go. Problem is, buddy, you fired all your rounds. You're about ready to reload, so I could predict what was about to happen. There's something cathartic, though, about being able to make a comeback and to say that, yeah, I stuck with it. But when it comes to gaming, that really doesn't apply. In fact, I would say it is quite the reverse. The more you do it, the more frustrating it becomes, and the more failure you start to experience. Now, I love the game of StarCraft. It is a lot of fun. Maybe not the most fun game out there. I would probably say that's a different game altogether. But it is a lot of fun. That being said, I was like, I need to stop playing this. And so I kept thinking, I'm just going to have one more like really good day of playing it. And then I'm going to uninstall it. I said that for 3 months in a row. Just one more day of doing it. One more day. And finally I was like, you know, I think it's time to get rid of it. And so I didn't wait for a good day. I just said, you know what? It's good enough. Uninstall. And you know what? You forget about it immediately. That desire that people have to, for my psychological reasons, I just want to press on and do a little bit more. Sure. But it's doing more damage than help. The number of times I can cite like, I remember this epic game. I can't remember. I really can't. There's a handful, maybe 20 games I can remember over years of playing that I can actually say beyond a shadow of a doubt, this was fun. I remember how great this was. It was so epic. Everything else, no one knows. No one cares. So thus, just one more is trivial and actually does more harm. And I'm not saying people can't have fun, but I am saying that your sanity starts to come into danger when you spend all your time trying to chase just one more. I love the game League of Legends. It is a lot of fun too. And that was very addicting back at college. And we all at college would just say just one more. Just one more. Then we'll have the ability to get some good sleep. Game after game, people's tempers rising. People getting more and more frustrated. And one more game never satisfied. One more victory never was satisfied. We got worse as the evening went on. And finally, we were losing so much. Some of us were like, we need to just sleep. Wake up and try it again. And immediately you win. And you're like, well, maybe we should have done that to begin with. But it doesn't feel good for that. And feelings start to triumph when you're having to make a decision. Feelings will betray you. Eventually. You know, I kind of miss the, not entirely, but kind of miss the first year of streaming. There's a lot of fun that took place then. There's also a lot of frustration. There's some fun with it too. Come on. Ah! Fail. Now I have to go find some shield. Nope. Now I really have to find some shield. Come here, Red Baron. Well, not the best way to end, but it's got to end. All right, gonna go do some art. Actually, should I even bother with doing that? It is. I do have something else I need to kind of get squared away for the evening. Well, at least for tonight, we figured out that the game is operational. Yeah, we probably should just bring it to a close here. It's a shorter stream tonight. But hey, we're back to streaming on a regular basis. That's kind of the hardest thing. I've been absent for a little too long. Not like these are like super popular streams, but I kind of need to get into the habit of doing it more. Try and do something tomorrow. I want to try and do something every day, or just about every day for this holiday break. I'm not quite on break yet, but I will be here shortly. I will be trying to stream as much as I can, just because it helps me psychologically with some of my projects. So anyway, we're going to call it there. If you like the stream, then wonderful, and if not, I'll try and improve. Share a comment if there's something that you want to see explored or whatnot. Be much appreciated. I don't have to be successful in the streaming world. I don't need to be famous. I just want to be impactful. That's my main purpose. Comments are not necessarily supposed to make it where the streams like grow in popularity or whatnot. It's just supposed to be so that I know if people find something that like really connected with them. Anyway, we'll see you next time, whenever that is. Until next time, folks, be civil to one another and have a very pleasant evening.